Please welcome Ryan Bomberger, pro-life activist and author.
All right. How's everybody feel? That wasn't convincing at all. Let's try it again. How does everybody feel? Much better, much better. We're alive. We're happy to be alive. We love being alive. Well, my wife and I started the Radiance Foundation a few years ago because we wanted to tackle some of the tough issues. So we started the Radiance Foundation to illuminate, educate, and motivate, to illuminate one simple truth, that every human life has purpose. We want to educate people about a myriad of social issues in the context of God-given purpose, and then motivate people, because what good is knowledge? What good is information if you don't act on it? So this is why we started the Radiance Foundation. We like to creatively illuminate that every human life has purpose. In fact, I've been known to kind of get myself into certain situations is because we love doing this. We fight factophobia. Anybody ever hear of it? We have a society and a culture that has such an aversion to the truth, but we cannot be silent. We don't have the luxury of being silent. And so as you can see there, it says, truth ain't hate, let love illuminate. Let's just say that. Say, truth ain't hate, let love illuminate. This is why we do what we do. We're motivated by 1 Corinthians 13:6 that says love does not delight in evil, but it rejoices in the truth. This is why we do what we do. People really confuse. They confuse loving every human being with loving every human doing. They're not the same. And so this is why we do what we do. I am a factivist, not an activist, but a factivist. This kind of spells out the difference right here. Except we need some audio. Audio, sound. Oh, well, there's no sound. All right, thank you. Just anybody in the back, can we get some sound for the video? I could sing along with it. Bobby Jindal, he has a really great quote, but you're not going to hear it. All right, well, thank you. Well, I'm waiting to get a signal from someone in the back. Anybody? Okay, that's all right. We'll just keep moving on. See, this is, there we go. Little louder, little louder, come on.
This country was founded on the belief that what sets us apart, race, language, religion, sexual orientation, should not dissolve what binds us.
The United States of America did not create religious liberty. Religious liberty created the United States of America.
Our Democratic Party that championed civil rights and voting rights.
It was, in fact, Republicans of their day who worked to pass the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendments, securing for African Americans deliverance from slavery, equal protection under the law, and the right to vote.
Yes, it sounds much better with sound. How about that? Less activism, more factivism. See, we have a culture that wants to engage all the time without the facts, but the reality is emotions don't set us free. Truth does. And so one of the biggest lies is something that's perpetrated by the abortion industry. I'm going to give you a little backstory. My family, if we could put that on the screen, that'd be great. But a little backstory, because I lived through one of the biggest myths that's put out there by the abortion industry, that certain children are unwanted. And having grown up in a small little family of 15, I have 6 brothers, 6 sisters, 10 of us were adopted. In fact, if we can get the image of my family up there, that'd be great. There are, okay. Is somebody sleeping back there? Well, multimedia presentation requires the multimedia. Do we? Well, this is a first. There's always a first. I guess I could just talk without the multimedia, but it's really hard to see my family of 15 if we don't have them on the screen. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to do it this way. I have 15 people in my family. Grew up in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, home of the Amish. Grew up on whoopie pies and apple dumplings. And if you don't know what a whoopie pie is or what shoofly pie is, then you're missing out. But I grew up on a farm. People don't believe me. They think I grew up in the city. No, I used to milk cows. And that's not a glamorous thing. There's nothing wrong with it. And for anybody who's a farmer here, I'm just going to say real milk is nasty. I'm just saying. I like the pasteurized fake milk. But anyway, my family, oh my word. I guess my family is not going to be here today. In fact, my whole presentation is not going to be here today. Okay, this is what I learned growing up in my family, where we have white, black, mixed. We have Native American, Vietnamese. We have those who were adopted as newborns, those who were adopted as teens out of foster care, those who are albino, who have physical disabilities. Some of them have learning disabilities, but every one of us loved like crazy by two parents who weren't willing to accept the world's report, weren't willing to accept the world's ideology that somehow some human beings are throwaways. And so thank goodness my parents defied that, and they loved 13 kids. Now, I don't know how many of you ever raised 13 teenagers. Anybody in here? Because you know that one teenager can kill you, right? I'm just saying. My parents voluntarily had 13. Here's the article that I was telling you about. Right there. I love the title of this article. It says, "Unwanted Children Find Their Wanted." This was the journey of our lives. There's no such thing as unwanted. We are all wanted by someone. Let me show you one of the main foundational tenets of the Radiance Foundation. Growing up in a family that was diverse, white, black, and every hue in between, this is true. We are one human race. It's simple as that. Can I get an amen in here? Love it. Now, I want to show you that picture of that big old family. And this is just my brothers, sisters, their spouses, their children. There are no aunts and uncles, no grandparents. It's just the Bomberger family. My parents are in the middle there. And this is all of us. See, this is what happens when you defy the world's low expectations. Now, this is made possible because of 10 courageous birth moms who chose to be stronger than their circumstances. See, the abortion industry is always telling women that you're not strong enough. And the last time I checked, women were some strong, resilient people. Am I right? Come on. I walked in when my wife was having a C-section. That was devastating. And I will say women are the stronger sex. I'm just saying. But the abortion industry is constantly throwing at women, nope, nope, nope. And that's why I love the pro-life movement. I love the pregnancy centers and the maternity homes who are constantly giving women, actually not just women, mothers and fathers, hope. And so that's why we do what we do. But people will ask me, have you ever met your birth mom? And the answer, unfortunately, is no, I've not met her. Not that I have to have a relationship with her. I love my parents. They love me. I'm the favorite in the family. So we got a good arrangement here. But I've never met her, but I do want to meet her one day, and I speak around the world, whether it's at Harvard or Princeton or Columbia Law School or pregnancy center banquets or Capitol Hill briefings. I believe one day that she'll show up. And I don't know how many of you are willing to say that you've ugly cried, but I would be ugly crying at that moment just to be able to thank her. So as a creative, in fact, everything you see on the screens here, I design it, and I only say that to not elevate myself, but to highlight a God who enables triumph to rise from tragedy all the time, all the time. And so I wanted to create a tribute to my birth mom, just to thank her for all the things I've been able to become because of her singular decision. And that singular decision literally will have reverberations for generations. And this is the tribute that I came up with.
You couldn't see what I would be. It wasn't part of your plan. Stronger than your circumstance. You gave my life a chance, touching the future before it began. Your
Only God. Thank you. Thank you. Although I am that 1% that's used 100% of the time to justify abortion, my life still has purpose. And I talked about those beautiful reverberations. These are the most beautiful reverberations of my birth mom's decision. These are my family, my wife, my 4 children, or it's just me on the screen. So, that's all right. My wife, Bethany, who is the executive director of the Radiance Foundation, one of the strongest women I've ever known, one of the most beautiful women I've ever known. And our 4 children, out of our 4, we homeschool our 4 children, by the way. And when I say we, I mean she homeschools her 4 children. She's a teacher by profession. It's her thing. But we have 2 adopted children as well. And it's amazing, just the legacy of love that my parents have passed on. And I think about how adoption unleashes purpose. I think of the antithesis to that, which is Planned Parenthood, that crushes purpose. The abortion industry that crushes purpose about 3,000 times a day. Planned Parenthood about 880 times a day. Planned Parenthood, in fact, I don't know if we can get this tweet. This is a recent tweet from Planned Parenthood back in the fall. It says, if you're a black woman in America, it's statistically safer to have an abortion than to carry a pregnancy to term or give birth. So you're better off aborting your child than to go through pregnancy. Imagine if President Donald Trump tweeted that. What do you think the reaction would be? That was great. That would be the mainstream media meltdown. That would happen. White supremacy, racism, but Planned Parenthood tweets it, and it's okay. People talk about systemic racism all the time. Let me give you a definition of systemic racism. A taxpayer-funded entity that disproportionately kills black lives. That's systemic racism, which is why we place one of these billboards. We have a billboard campaign, and we just say it. Abortion is systemic racism. WhatAbortionReallyIs.com. We worked with a coalition of left and right, black and white pregnancy centers, right-to-life groups, even an NAACP chair in the local area in Cleveland, and an Al Sharpton National Network grassroots activists joined our coalition to fight the disproportionate impact of a billboard campaign targeting the black community there in Cleveland. So this is another one of the billboards. So we had 11 billboards. Some of them said abortion is violence, abortion is lost fatherhood, abortion is regret, and one of my favorites, abortion is fake feminism. Can I get an amen? Come on. See, now Planned Parenthood, everyone says, well, abortion's only 3% of their services, only 3%. We've all heard that lie. As if killing human beings 3% of the time is okay. It would be like your bank saying, yeah, sure, everyone who walks through our door, 97% of the people who walk through our doors, yes, we don't kill them. We do kill the other 3%, but we do give great investment options. That's the equivalent. I mean, to be honest, people, even the KKK has food drives. So there's no seeming amount of beneficence that makes up for the fact that you're killing human beings 3% of the time. But if you want to look at what Planned Parenthood does, because this is what mainstream media does, oh, but look at all the other services. But they don't actually look at all the other services. So the Radiance Foundation did. In fact, you can get all this free stuff at the Radiance Foundation table in the exhibit area. We looked at all their services. Every single major medical service to women is plummeting at Planned Parenthood. Every single one. Breast cancer exams, Pap tests, prenatal care barely exists. But see, this is what happens when you're a hashtag fake health organization. So, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to talk about some of the things I would love to talk about. I'm just going to tell you this. Don't be afraid to be that singular person who's standing alone. See, what courage doesn't need is a crowd. What courage does need is a conscience. And we have to be willing to speak the truth. We have to be willing to live the truth. Loving people enough to speak that truth. So if you just say with me one last time, say less activism, more factivism. Say it with feeling. Say less activism, more factivism. God bless you. Hope to see you at the Radiance exhibit a little later on. God bless.